I, 29 female, got engaged to my boyfriend, Peter, 30, early this year, and our wedding is scheduled for next year. Peter has a sister, Olivia, who's a teen and was recently diagnosed with leukemia. She's receiving chemotherapy, and as far as I know, it's not terminal. One of Olivia's dreams in life is to get married. Ever since I've known her, she talked about her future wedding and has planned every last detail. Since she got diagnosed, she's become apprehensive that she won't be able to have her own dream wedding because she might pass before that happens. Based on what I know about her diagnosis, she'll likely survive and go on to live a full life. Still, it's a definite possibility she could die. Peter and I are currently in the wedding planning stage, and this is also where we might be the idiots. Peter's parents approached us a few days ago and asked if we would be willing to dedicate some of our wedding time to Olivia, since she might not get one of her own. According to them, Olivia wants to wear a wedding dress, invite many of her friends, have a say in the food and cake decorations, and have a first dance with her boyfriend. They said it's better to do all this at my and Peter's wedding, because then the family can celebrate together. Peter and I were shocked they would ask this, since we thought our wedding would be about us. I know Olivia's struggling, and I feel completely awful for her, since no teenager should have their youth ruined by cancer. Still, I don't see why we can't have a separate party for Olivia instead of dedicating half of our day to her, especially since she'd likely get most of the attention due to her condition. Additionally, it will cost a lot more money to have to pay for Olivia's friends to attend the wedding. Peter's parents only offered to pay for 75% of the additional cost, and Peter and I aren't made of money. Peter and I told Peter's parents that we would think about it. Still, after discussing it, we decided it would be better to say no, because we'd prefer to have our day be about us. Still, we'd be more than willing to pitch in funds and help plan a separate party for Olivia. But when we informed Peter's parents, they were furious. They said they couldn't believe we were prioritizing ourselves over a child with cancer and that we were being selfish. They said this might be Olivia's only chance for a wedding, and how dare we deny her dying wish? I said I didn't understand why we couldn't have a separate party, but Peter's parents said they wanted it to feel authentic for Olivia, so it would be better to do it at an actual wedding. When they started raising their voices, Peter and I left. But since then, Peter's family's been spamming us with messages about how terrible we're being to Olivia and how they can't believe we're not being considerate of her wishes. Are we being unreasonable here? I might be the idiot because I don't want to dedicate half my wedding time to my fiancé's sister. Not the idiot. Honestly, I find the whole thing repulsive. A fake wedding for a maybe dying child is maudlin and in very poor taste. Wearing a wedding dress is not a wedding. Cutting a cake is not a wedding. Having a first dance is not a wedding. A wedding is a sacred commitment, including God or not, between two people who want to spend their lives together. This is nothing but a farce. Tell her the truth. She will live. She will be fine. She'll go out with 1,000,000 frogs before she ever finds her prince. And when she's ready, she'll have her wedding. Jesus, when the kid does get married, can OP get half of sister-in-law's wedding to get their kids baptized or a renewal of their vows? Like, what the heck? Although I can't imagine any combination of events that would freak me out as much as this. As a guest, I would be horrified. OMG, I didn't even think what it would be like for the guest. I would be so weirded out and felt like I was being held hostage at a weird wedding LARP. And what about the boyfriend? Can you imagine if and when this teen relationship breaks down? Will they demand he can't break up because they're married? God forbid, the next step is, I want to be a mommy before I die. Yeah, what's the next request they'll make of OP? You need to have a baby for Olivia because she won't get to have her own kids? This has to stop now. This request is way out of line and is frankly quite creepy. Do they want to piggyback off your wedding to throw a fantastic party for a teen? Your wedding is your wedding. and you should stick to your plan. Don't accept any funds from them, as strings will undoubtedly be attached. Seriously, consider eloping. I don't trust his parents to not try to spin your wedding into her fantasy wedding. My wife and I have been together for 15 years. Together we have a teen daughter, Amy, and she has a nearly adult daughter, Lisa. Lisa's very girly, just like my wife. She also looks like my wife a lot, and they're both very beautiful. My wife believes that girls must wear girly clothes, dresses, skirts, and other things like this. However, the problem is that Amy doesn't have much of a girly face and doesn't look good in girly clothes. A few weeks ago, we took some pictures of both girls, and my wife put Lisa's pictures in the living room. However, she insisted that we should put Amy's pictures in her bedroom because there's no more space in the living room. She didn't exactly say that she thought Amy was ugly, but both Amy and I knew that this was basically what she meant, and Amy had tears in her eyes. I was so mad, so I decided to do something. I got a hairdresser appointment for Amy and told her she can do whatever she wants. She cut her hair short and colored it. Then we got 2 more piercings on her ears, and we went shopping and bought many clothes for her. This time, instead of choosing dresses, she decided to buy boy clothes. She looked amazing in them and was very happy. This is where I might be the idiot. We can't afford to buy that many clothes when she doesn't need them. I am the breadwinner, and my wife is a stay-at-home mom. She's been saving money for a vacation and looking forward to it because she doesn't get to go on vacations much. I have access to my wife's account, and I used her vacation money to pay for everything. When we returned home, my wife was horrified because I didn't inform her about changing my wife's appearance. She asked me where I got the money to buy those, and I told her the truth. She just burst out crying, calling me an idiot because she didn't get to have fun for years, and I stopped her from going on a vacation that she was looking forward to. She thinks I'm the idiot and is giving me the silent treatment. Am I the idiot? Wow, you both suck hard here for different reasons. Your wife, obviously, for making your poor daughter feel bad about herself. But you, sir, don't get a free pass to steal your wife's savings, especially since it sounds like a vacation is a rare thing for her. 2 wrongs don't make a right. This warranted a serious private discussion with your wife and a plan for better treatment of your youngest, not theft. You really are as dense as heck. A haircut and some hair dye were more than enough, but going on an expensive shopping spree when you absolutely cannot afford it with your wife's vacation money is an absolute idiot move. A discussion between you and your wife would have clarified the situation about the photos, but what you did was extremely immature and reckless. I hope she divorces you and takes half of your crap, since you so proudly claim you're the breadwinner. I vote you are the idiot for this. Amy doesn't have much of a girly face and doesn't look good in girly clothes. And also this, I have access to my wife's account, and I used her vacation money to pay for everything without discussing it with her. And you are the idiot to your daughter for this. She insisted that we should put Amy's pictures in her bedroom because there was no more space in the living room. Dude, you let your wife do that. You failed to stand up for your daughter. I feel sorry for Amy. I disagree. OP's not the idiot. I have no problem with you raiding your vacation fund. Your wife can be upset that you dipped into the vacation fund, but she's been on vacation for years because she doesn't work. 2 teenage children who spend much of their time in school with their friends and are involved in teenage activities don't need intensive parental care. No diaper change, no bottle feedings, no middle-of-the-night breastfeeding. She essentially lives the life of a retired person. Maybe if she had a job, she wouldn't have the time to focus so intently on your daughter's looks and fashion choices. I took my 3 kids to the movies with my husband. When we arrived, my oldest, a teen, said he wanted to watch a different movie than the rest of the family. I said that was fine, and that we could meet him at the ice cream place across the street. His choice would start and end later. We started to split up, and then he said I forgot to give him money for a ticket. I asked him, why would I give him money for a ticket? He said he needed the money to buy his ticket. I said he could use his own money. He said that wasn't fair because I would buy a ticket for him before. I said I was going to buy tickets for the whole family for a family outing. If he's doing his own thing, he needs to pay for it. He said he didn't want to pay and would just watch the same movie as the rest of us. He was grumpy afterward, and my husband said I was petty. I don't think it's petty. I think it's a life lesson. People are more than piggy banks. So, am I the idiot? Edit. We pay the kids for good grades. School is basically a job, so they should get compensated. Everyone's the idiot here. He should have mentioned that he wanted to see a different movie before you got to the theater. You should have told him you would only pay for the one movie from the jump, not wait to rub it in his face. Because, let's be honest, you knew he would ask for money. So why didn't you tell him he'd be responsible for a ticket when he said he wanted to see a different movie? Because she wanted to teach him a life lesson. I'm missing the lesson, but maybe she can elaborate. You are the idiot, OP. It seems like you took him wanting to watch a different movie personally. My mother used to do this to my siblings and me. Forcing your kid to spend time with you under the threat of punishment will not work out the way you want it to. Trust me. Someone offers you a free ticket to go and see something, drives you to it, and you expect them to give you the money anyway to see something completely different without them. And they're the idiot for not wanting to pay for that? And you're also getting ice cream afterward and a ride back home. The level of entitlement that comment betrays is legendary, bordering on mythical. Agree. Pure entitlement to think you can ditch your family and still have it paid for. OP, you're not the idiot. This was perfectly handled, actually. Movies are a treat. Your offer was to treat the family to a specific movie together. He declined and preferred something else. You politely accepted, but you shut down his assumption that you'd bankroll it. You politely left him the option to pay for it himself. There's a difference between inviting someone to an outing and offering to pay and being expected to give them the money so they can go and do something else. I, nearly adult female, am a rising senior at my high school. I'm getting ready for college application season in a couple of months, and I've selected several schools, most of which are state schools. I have a spreadsheet with information on them, including tuition and living costs for students there. I have functions on the sheet that show how well I'd be able to afford it using my college savings account that my parents have and my own general savings. My parents, 40 female and 41 male, recently welcomed my baby brother, toddler. I was an only child before. I was talking to my mom about college and showed her my spreadsheet. Then she told me that I needed to adjust it for half of the college savings as they were planning to give my brother half of his college savings. I was pretty shocked by this, since they have 16 plus years to save up for his college, if that's something he'll even want to do. I ran the numbers with half the savings, and it's not looking good. I want to graduate with as little debt as possible, and taking away half is pretty damaging to that. I tried talking to both of my parents about it, but they wouldn't budge. My dad said it's their money, so it's up to them how they get to spend it, and I'm not entitled to it, which I understand. They said they hope to retire early, so they have more time with my brother. Funding another college fund would push back their retirement. He also said I should just save more money and not waste it. He's upset I bought myself a Switch with my paycheck last month. I usually put most of my paycheck into my savings. He said I'm a smart girl and they can help me figure it out. I still don't think it's fair to lose a good amount of my college fund, 15 months away from starting, to someone who won't use it for over 15 years. Am I the idiot for not wanting to split the fund with my brother? I'd say not the idiot. If they started your college fund when you were a baby, then they have the same amount of time to do it for him. If they don't want to keep putting money away for another 18 years, they should have thought about that before having another kid. Can't agree with this enough. OP's parents are the one who decided to have another kid, knowing when they wanted to retire and what their original plan was. There were better avenues than removing what they told OP would be OP's resource for college. This is the issue. They led her to believe this was her money, and she planned accordingly, only to have them pull the rug out from under her at the last minute when there was no time for her to plan differently. I sense a golden child was born a year and a half ago. It sucks that OP's parents didn't tell her sooner, like when they were pregnant. Had she known, she could have pursued some scholarships in her junior year. It's not too late, but it's easier to start racking up community service hours or whatever if you know soon. Golden child? You mean the boy they always wanted? It's a real idiot move on their part to suddenly take away the funding they had promised you all along. You made plans based on this promise. Tell them you found a solution and you plan to open an OnlyFans account to fund your college. It might get them to reconsider. Savage. OP, sadly, your parents are right in this. It is their money. They get to do whatever they want with it. That's the truth. And saying you should have saved more is such a BS older person thing. College is expensive, and the cost of living is easily triple to quadruple what your parents paid. The reality is, you'll probably have to take some loans, apply for scholarships, and keep applying while in school. My brother landed a full scholarship for his last year of school. I was able to graduate early by taking a few extra classes and saved a fair amount. But it's also okay to be sad and hurt by this. Your parents didn't set this up well. I got married last weekend. The morning of, everything was going great until my sister arrived. She was a bridesmaid. My toddler niece was with her and wearing pajamas. I didn't think much of it initially, as it was still morning, and I figured they were both changing. My sister got into her dress and then tried to put my niece into hers. Niece was not having it and threw a huge tantrum. She had worn this dress before. The tags were cut off. It wasn't a fancy dress by any means. My sister said she had bought it from Carter's. Eventually, my sister said it wasn't worth the struggle and she didn't have to wear the dress. I asked what the plan was. She said she'll just wear her pajamas. They weren't clean either and were smeared with my niece's breakfast from the morning. My niece was the flower girl. I said from the start, I didn't care what she wore as long as it matched the color scheme, which this didn't. She could either wear a dress or a polo and khakis, anything semi-formal. I get dressing kids in fancy clothes is a chore, so I tried to make it easy. But I felt this was a step too far. I asked my sister if she could go buy something else, as we were near Target and Old Navy. My sister said it wasn't a big deal. I said it was to me. We went back and forth until it became clear my niece couldn't come to the wedding, even if she wasn't a flower girl, in pajamas. Finally, my sister got my niece dressed. Niece was kicking and screaming and threw a whole tantrum. She was calmed down before we walked down the aisle, but my sister was visibly upset. Later on, my sister made it clear she thought I was a bridezilla and I should have just let it go. Am I an idiot? Not the idiot. I understand that kids at that age are unpredictable and will have tantrums over something as little as a spoon. Still, you already gave your niece a relaxed enough dress code that your sister would have had options if the dress didn't work out. There's a fine line between being accommodating and letting someone run roughshod. You did the right thing. Since the kid was part of the wedding party, dirty PJs are just not okay. Niece and sister need to learn how to function in the world. We wear nice clothes to weddings. Honestly, your sister sounds like a lazy parent. Giving in to every little tantrum will bite her in the butt one day, and then she'll wonder why she has no respect from the kid and no authority.